Hi everybody, Richard Tromans here again at Artificial Lawyer TV. Today we are doing the third part of our specials on Neota. With us to tell us a bit more about Canvas, the rapid prototyping system they have developed, is Jackson. Hi Jackson.
Thanks, Richard. So today's topic is Canvas, and before I actually demo what Canvas actually does, I want to take a step back and very quickly talk to the background of how Canvas fits into the four pillars of the Neota platform. The Neota platform is built on four individual pillars. These pillars underpin every single solution that is created using our platform. So first one is process automation, the ability to enable organizations to manage tasks and complex processes that span multiple teams, parties, and time. Document automation, very, very self-explanatory, the creation and more importantly, control over automating templates and precedents. Expertise automation, scaling expertise by automating advice. A guided digital interview, for example, questions, reasoning, and output. And then data. All three pillars are underpinned by our data management, NDM capability, the ability to manipulate data across applications, or to build applications to read from and write to SQL and Postgres databases without code. Canvas falls within the expertise automation category. And it is a web-based authoring tool that enables subject matter experts to quickly and effectively turn their expertise into runnable applications. A few key points: Canvas requires no training to use and uses drag and drop elements that allows users to ask questions, apply formulas, rules, logic, generate output reports, etc., etc. Our vision for Canvas is that it is to be deployed entirely across an organization to give every stakeholder, every employee, whether you are a lawyer or a HR, a procurement professional, the chance to start prototyping ideas for automation. These prototypes are then put through an ideation funnel to select the best few by the business, and then handed off to a separate team of Neota trained and certified architects to build out the solution in the main Neota authoring platform studio. So that is a very brief background to Canvas. What I'm going to do is actually show you how Canvas works. On screen, what you'll see is Workbench. Workbench is seen as the management console of Neota. It's where you manage applications, manage user access rights, view application usage, utilize data management. Up here, you'll see the big Canvas tab. To create a new Canvas application, click the big blue button on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. Give it a name. I'll call it Canvas Demo, Artificial Lawyer, version 4. As you can probably tell, I've done a few practice runs already. This is your Canvas workspace. So a few things to note: the name of the app is on top. You can redo and undo actions you've undertaken. This play button is very, very important. If the play button is red, the app is not ready to run, as an element logic piece is incomplete. If it's green, all cylinders are firing. So our Canvas engine will actually highlight to the user, the builder, where it thinks there is a gap in the app logic that is preventing the app from running. Canvas applications are composed of tools, which you can see on the left-hand side. In the Canvas workspace, these tools are represented by nodes. An example is shown on screen in the form of a start node. So start nodes are quite unique in that it's automatically created and is used to set the app's header, footer, orientation, as well as the welcome screen. So on the tools on the left, I won't go through all of them, but you'll see, running down the list, the ask node, request inputs from users. Formula nodes, pretty self-explanatory, used to define, create formulas, mathematical operations. Rule node, used to define, create logic. Message node enables authors to craft messages to display to their user at runtime. Document nodes, the ability to allow authors to create reports for download. Email nodes allows authors to send emails to one or more multiple recipients. So let's begin and in my opinion, the best way to demonstrate any feature of a technology platform is to use a real and practical example. So what I've done earlier is downloaded a California Consumer Privacy Act, CCPA fact sheet from a quick Google search. As your North American viewers might know, Richard, the CCPA took effect on January 1st, 2020, applies a new set of rules to certain businesses when it comes to the handling of personal information. According to the fact sheet, the business is subject to the CCPA if one or more of the following conditions apply. There are 3 conditions, so let's build that into this app. So let's start off with the start node. As mentioned before, it is automatically created. You can also drag your workspace around, zoom out, zoom in using your mouse or cursor. Click on the pencil node to begin. We now have some pretty nifty authoring tools compared to when Canvas was first released. One of the features is theme design, which you can see on the top here. It allows the user to set predefined themes to the application. So you can use a pre-built theme that you've built out yourself or use one that our UX team has designed. I quite like the Neota Logic Santorini theme. So let's bring that up. Really cool feature of theme design is that you can actually see a preview of what the theme and the page looks like down below. The second feature is save application data. Again, another very useful feature for Canvas. Turning on save application data means that you are connecting your Canvas app automatically to NDM, the Neota Data Manager. That means all user input data is automatically saved when the app is run. So let's create the welcome screen. Give it a heading. Let's call this the Digital CCPA Advisor. You'll note you can change the font, you can change the colors, you can even add in pictures, URL links, etc. Let's give it some text. So we'll just say, welcome to your Digital California CCPA Advisor. And there we go. All right, the next thing we want to do is put in the first question. The first question is around gross annual revenue. So what I want to do is drop in an ask node. So I'll put it below the start node, connect both nodes using this connector button here. Click on the pencil icon to edit. Give it a short description, call this gross annual revenue. Enter your question text. So what is your business's gross annual revenue in millions of dollars? Expand the question settings, give it an answer variable name. This identifies the variable if you want to refer it back to this node later on in the application. So if you want to use the user input in a formula or in logic, this is quite handy. Give it an answer type. Obviously, we want to have it as a number. You can put a condition and a validation on the question using these 2 boxes here, but let's leave that for now. Minimize the question and let's click out of the question. All right, now what I want to do is let's create a document for when CCPA does apply. Now remember, when one of the 3 conditions apply, the rules apply. So what I want to do is let's drop in the document. Let's drop it in down here. Click on the pencil icon, give it a description. We'll call it document CCPA applies. Give it a document title. We'll call it report CCPA applies. This is a report title for when anyone wants to download a copy of the report when the application is run. Give it a variable name, final report CCPA applies. You can have the output format in Word or PDF as download. Let's just go for Word for now. And let's give it some text. I'll just copy and paste what's in this fact sheet here. You can obviously then apply some formatting to it, but let's just leave that as is. You'll note here that the arrow is red, so I know something is not quite right yet, and it won't play if I press the play button now. Now moving on to the next 2 questions. I want to put in a new ask node, but what I want to show you is that you can have multiple questions on the one node, which means you can have multiple questions on the one page. So I'll drop in an ask node here. I'll connect the first node to this one here and connect this to the document as well. Click on the pencil icon to edit this particular node. Short description, I'll call this other questions. For the first question, I'll give it a question text. This one centers around the number of personal information that the business buys, receives, or sells. Expand the question settings, give it an answer variable name again. I'll call this one number of consumers. Answer type here again will not be number. This will be a yes or no question. Let's get out of the question settings and let's add in another question to this node or to this form. So click on the add button here, put another question, put in the question text. This one is around business revenue, whether it derives 50% or more of annual revenues from selling consumers' personal information. Expand the question setting, again, give it a variable name. I'll call this percentage of annual revenues. Answer type again is yes or no. Pretty simple. Let's minimize and let's exit. All right, now what I want to do is edit the first set of connectors, which is this line that you see here, which is currently in red. What we want to do is add in the logic through setting what we call situation sets in the connectors. To do that, click on the connectors, click on the pencil icon. Let's do the first branch first. Click on add condition to branch 1. Click on add row. Adding row means that you are adding one logic set at a time. Adding group means you are adding more than one set of logic. So here, let's click add row. Let's find the variable. Upstream variable is gross annual revenue. The logic, if it's below $25 million as your gross annual revenue, the CCPA doesn't apply and you get asked the next two questions. If your answer is above 25 million, then the CCPA automatically applies. Click submit, and that's the logic for label 1. Click add condition for label 2 or branch 2. Here we can add in a row that is the exact opposite logic to the first branch, or we can simply click else. And what that means is that any other answer that is less than $25 million will direct the user to the second pathway, which is CCPA applies. Click submit, and we're done with that set of connectors. Now what you'll notice is that the play button is green, which means everything seems to be working so far. Now what I want to do is let's create the rules and message output for when CCPA doesn't apply after answering the last two questions, which is here. So what I want to do is let's drop in a message node. Let's put it down here. Click on the pencil icon to edit, give it a short description. We'll call this if CCPA doesn't apply. Give it a heading. This one is CCPA is not applicable to your business. And let's put in some text, pretty standard. Thank you for using the app. The CCPA does not apply to your business. Now let's make another message, this time for when CCPA does apply. Do the same thing, click on the pencil icon, give it a short description. This time CCPA applies. Give it a heading, CCPA applies to your business. Give it a text. Let's just copy and paste what we put into the report at the start. And there you go. So here, instead of downloading the report, the text, the message will be shown on screen to the user. All right, let's now connect the second node to these two messages. And let's go in and create the second set of logic and rules. Click on the connector, click on the pencil icon. Situation set 1, branch 1, add condition. Here is we actually need to add a group, as there are two sets of logic conditions that need to be satisfied. So add a group. First one, so if upstream variable, number of consumers, equals into Boolean is no, and, so make sure here is and, so you can have logic sets that are and or logic. So and means both conditions have to be satisfied for the user to move down this path. So and we have to find the other upstream variable, which is percentage of annual revenues. If that is also a no, then CCPA doesn't apply. Click submit. Let's move on to the second branch. We'll do the same thing, make it simple, click else, hit submit, and we're done. Now what I want to do is let's move back up to the first set of rules for when CCPA applies, this document here. Let's create a new message so that the user can download the report. And if we have time, let's put in an email so that the report is emailed to me. So drop in the message node, put it next to the document node here. Let's connect it up. Click on the edit button, give it a short description, message CCPA applies. Give it a heading, CCPA applies to your business. Put in some text. Thank you for taking the digital CCPA advisor. Download your report here. To actually insert the report, you need to find the upstream document variable value. To do that, put your cursor there, insert variable value, select the value, upstream variable. There's only one report, so it's easy to find. Final report, CCPA applies. And there you go. The user is now able to download that report when they get to this stage. Now let's do the email out, put in the email down here, the email node, connect the message to the email. Let's edit the email, give it a short description, email report, CCPA applies to, I'll put in my email. Beauty about Neota Logic and creating these apps is that for this one, for example, you can actually, and most authors would create a question variable upstream to ask for intended recipient email addresses, and you can have multiple here. And then here, what you can do is just insert that variable so that all the emails are sent to whoever you want the reports to be sent at this stage. Give it a subject line. So this is the subject line of the email. So you're actually creating your email body here. Find the attachment. Again, very simple. There's only one document, and give it a body. All right. So very, very quick, simple CCPA fact sheet turned into digital app. Click play. Let's run through it. Let's go. So first page, it's got the Santorini theme. Let's go first run through less than 25 million. Let's go 24. Then you get asked the next two questions. Let's say no to the second question. CCPA applies because you satisfied one of the conditions. Let's go back. Let's answer both questions as no. CCPA doesn't apply. And then finally, to make sure everything is working, it's all just not theatre, let's go above 25 million. Let's go 28 million. CCPA applies, and you're actually able to download a Word copy of the report. A copy of the report is also then sent to myself as the email recipient. So that is that, Richard. Hopefully you enjoyed that, and your audience.
Yeah, thanks, Jackson. It's very, very useful to actually see a product being made live in front of you, and it shows just how easy it is to do. So thank you for that. I guess the next question has to be, if someone's watching this and thinks this looks great, I would like to do this. How do they go about it? How do they get hold of the capability to do this?
Well, I mean, first of all, please feel free to have a look at our website, which has a Canvas section. And then obviously, if someone would like to see or use Canvas, please feel free to get in contact with anyone at Neota Logic, myself, or I think we have a sales@neotalogic.com email address, or info@neotalogic.com also works quite well.
Awesome. And just last question. I mean, some people looking at this, even though it's clearly kind of a no-code solution, it doesn't look that complicated. Even so, some people might look at this and go, wow, you know, there's obviously lots of technical stuff I need to know to do this. How much training do people need to do one of these things?
To use Canvas, the idea behind Canvas and the user-centered design process that went into the design and the implementation of Canvas is that a user should come in, open up Canvas, which I've done, which I showed before. So go into Workbench, open up Canvas. Someone should be able to start playing around with the tools and start building an application themselves without training at all. Of course, we do have a manual that an online manual that has a Canvas section, so that users can obviously turn to that for guidance and FAQs and things like that. But the idea of Canvas in particular is that anybody can go in and start building these apps without training.
Fantastic. Thanks, Jackson. Really appreciate it. And well, hope to see you again very soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Richard. Pleasure.